I believe you're muted, Faylene.
Okay, try that again. Yeah.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the public hearing and regular meeting of the Planning and Land Use Commission of the Town of Castro Valley. It is Thursday, March 6th, 2025. It is now 6:32 p.m. and I call this meeting to order. Meeting will be a hybrid meeting held electronically by Zoom and also in person at the anchor site down building. So I now call to order the public hearing regarding proposed amendments to Ordinance 85-3, changing language in reference to land use authority, appeal authority, lot division, and other as determined to bring the ordinance into compliance with subdivision ordinance 2004-3 amended. We have a roll call.
Yes, so present at the town building are co-chairs Ryan Anderson and Dorje Honer, PLUC members Janie Tuft and Jeff Whitney. Others present are Jane Broadwell, Colleen Thompson, Egmont Honer, and Jasmine Duncan, our mayor, is joining us by Zoom. Absent is Marie Hawkins.
Thank you, Faylene.
Yes.
We're to agenda item number 2 for the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak to this ordinance? Hearing none. Seeing none. This public. Oh, go ahead, sir.
I'm not sure if there's the right way to do it, but I talked to John Brew about the water metering system that is proposed, or should be proposed at some point, and also the addition of a emergency messaging system on the same plane. And he kind of recommended that it be taken up by the general survey, who's put on that list, maybe to address it that way. Thank you. You might have to talk to John Brew about details about the water metering system.
Thank you. We'll be talking further after their meeting on 12. Okay. Thank you for that information. Great. Any further comment? With that, I call for adjournment of this public hearing.
Take a motion.
I will take motion, yes.
I, Janie Tuft, make a motion to adjourn this part of the agenda.
Second. Motion, Jenny. Second, Jeff. Take a roll call vote. Dorje, aye. Jeff, aye.
Janie, aye.
Brian, aye.
Hey, Ryan, when your whole PLUC team is there in person, you don't need a roll call vote.
Okay, we're missing Marie.
That's fine. You're still all there in person.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep.
That saves time. Thank you, Mayor. So the public hearing is adjourned at 6:36. I call to order the regular meeting of the Planning and Land Use Commission at 6:37. Ask for adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as written? Full second. Motion, Jeff. Second, Dorje. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The agenda has been adopted. Here to open public comment. Is there any open public comment? Seeing none, agenda item number 3 is approval of minutes for the February 6th, 2025 regular meeting. Is there a motion to adopt the or approve the minutes?
I just want to point out that there was one change made on page 2 at the very bottom. This was from the first time I sent out a draft to you. And it was noted, I think, by someone at the town council that on that last line, it says that, Roth was requested to find all uses of the term. In the original draft I sent to you had said land division, but the term is actually lot division. So that was changed since I sent that out to you.
I, Jeannie Tuck, make a motion to approve these pending minutes with that change that you just said.
Thank you. Motion, Jenny. Is there a second? I will second. Second, Dorothy. All in favor, say aye. 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 The minutes have been approved as amended. Agenda item number 4. Correspondence. Is there any correspondence?
No.
I did receive some correspondence back from new members of our committee, and they will be addressing some of those water issues as they relate to potential survey questions after their meetings. Thank you. You're down to you, Colleen, ready for the building permit agent report.
Yes, Kayleen, I printed one and I forgot to bring it. First of all, I sent the in the packet was a corrected version of the January report on lot 121. I left off the square footage and height statistics. So that's what that correction was about. In February, there were 3 building permits, a CLUC, Certificate of Land Use Compliance, aka zoning approval, for a shipping container on lot 138. There was a permit approved for a detached garage on lot 27 and a septic permit for lot 26. Any questions on?
Any questions? Hearing none. Go ahead. Go. We have another.
The Jane Broadwell thing.
That's an agenda item.
Oh, okay.
There are no procedural matters.
Well, there was one,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
right. I was going to request that we change the May meeting from the 1st to the following Thursday, which would be the 8th. There's 5 Thursdays that month, and if we were to do that, it still gives us the 2 weeks in between the PLUC meeting and the town council meeting. But I don't know whether that would be a conflict for any of you.
Is it helpful to you?
Yes, yes. Several reasons.
The second,
Okay.
second Thursday.
Right, so it would be the 8th instead of the 1st.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
I'm
Okay.
good with that.
Okay,
Thank you, Billy.
thank you.
Approved. So,
Okay.
that brings us down to. That's the minute. Couple off the buffalo. Brings us down to new business. Agenda item number 5. Discussion and possible action regarding recommendations to town council regarding a building permit for lot 357 for an addition to a non-compliant building.
Okay, Jane Broadwell, who is gracing us with her presence in case there are questions, has a a residence in the upper 80 on lot 357. She's planning a one-story addition to her house, living room thing and a garage, an unenclosed garage. However, when I checked the 1992 house plans, that house is a little over 25 feet high, and our limit is 25 feet. So it's a non-complying building because it predated that 25-foot height limit. And therefore, according to the ordinance sections that I've quoted here, the planning commission has to review the application and then the town council approves it. A non-complying building can have additions and changes made to it as long as the degree of non-compliance is not increased. In this case, the non-compliance is about 4 inches of extra height. The additions are 1 story, so the height is not being increased. And the total square footage of the finished project will not be over the 5,000 square foot limit that we have for structures exceeding 19 feet in height. So, as far as I can tell, it's perfectly fine according to the ordinances.
Thank you. Jane, thank you for being here. Would you like to say anything?
No,
I think it will be a very nice addition.
So saying, would you like to make a recommendation?
I recommend that we,
I think it should be a motion, say I move,
Jenny,
but, yeah.
move that we approve
well,
this plan.
okay, but we're recommending to the town council that they approve it. Since it's a
Who should be making
non-compliant.
the motion?
Hmm?
Who should be making?
Well, you can do it,
You can
but
make a motion.
the motion is you move to recommend to the town council that they approve the building permit. Kind of the way it's,
To the town council that we approve this plan.
okay.
Is that completed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion, Jamie, second. Second, Joe. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
You're welcome.
thanks for coming.
And you're welcome to stay. So we are now down to item number 6 on the agenda, discussion and possible action regarding the 2025 general plan survey. So we have the work that so far has been done. A copy of that. There are highlighted comment sections that if we have not had time to look at prior to now, you could look at now so that we can discuss this further. There were some assignments made, and as I mentioned earlier, one of my assignments was to get with Corey and see if he had any input. I was unable to get in contact with him after a few attempts. In fact, I stopped by yesterday and did not see anyone there or any cars there, so I'm not sure. I will follow up on making that contact with you, Jeff, on the act. I also made contact with some of the members of the water committee. And as I mentioned earlier, they will, after their meeting, they've been doing a lot of work after their meeting on the 12th, may have a couple of suggestions for questions on the survey about water. Like, need some more, no less.
You actually looking for writing.
Right now, it's getting close, right? So the highlighted areas are with comments attached, are those areas that we're looking at to see what changes are yet to be made. If there are any glaring omissions at the point process that we're just missing, it should be considered. As we saw there, and has been mentioned, water is possibly, there may be two questions coming in to dealing with water. And also there was the changes with the ag questions and possibly the way that they're worded. Right?
You know, what I'd really like to see asked.
Okay.
And so I can see how everybody else thinks.
Mhm.
If you agree with the height and square footage restriction. Well, even today we dealt with it.
Mhm.
So I'd like to see what everybody's thinking. Now, of course, we all have ours. So, of course, mine's always non-conformable. But, you know, I hate being grandfathered on it. So I'd like to find out what other people think. I know when I was in the building department, I was so many people upset about, you know, especially on the hillsides. Because what they have to do on the hillsides is they have to spread their house out to get square footage. Instead of, you know, if you averaged it, you would go up the hill. There's a lot of different ways to measure, but I'd like to find out if, you know, everybody's pretty happy with what we've got.
Clock number, what do you think?
It's a logical question to ask.
Yeah. Where do we put it in?
Yeah, would you be willing to start crafting that idea?
Do you want that to be a separate section, or do you want me to find a section to put that?
If there's a section that we can put it in, let's do that. If not, it could be a separate section.
It looks like what we did in our workshop in September. Everything seems to be included in here that we workshop.
You think, Jenny? Any further comment? I really appreciate you giving it a critical eye. And considering that we have a few things yet pending. Probably need to put this on the agenda for next month. Right? And
With
maybe
with the addition of.
with that addition with Jeff. And yeah, I'm not sure if they're in town. I don't know.
One more thing that might be worth asking, not seeing it in here, there's something similar to it, but we may want to see if there's other services that they'd like the town to provide, and not that we can necessarily do that, but it might be good information to have.
We're living for space on your dad.
Yes.
Well, and that brings up a point that they need to look at. There's one question in there about services provided by the town and the cost of those services. So we may need to look at the wording of that. Right?
Are you willing to pay? I mean, the questions about agency. Healthcare.
Those two. Aging in place.
Right.
Is one of the considerations that I hear time and again out here. We are putting in the median age of our population, which has increased since the last one. Even with the newbies moving in, the kids.
There's a few young ones.
Yeah.
Well, that got this section on me and other net services.
Yeah.
So, given the next time frame, should we again go through this with those ideas in mind? And put down your ideas, because what we have found in the past, including through this before, is that writing it while we're here doesn't really work well. Refining it is a possibility. But crap doesn't really, it's not as effective. Boilerplate ideas and fairly well crafted. So that we can just refine it if we see anything learned. Commit to doing that work for the next few weeks. So we come in with there. And I will, and Bailey will keep you appraised of what other information comes in from other people. If we put it all over. Bailey, do you have any further things that you see that we?
Well, no. But if you take these and make notes on them, it'd be nice to bring them back with your next meeting. Or if you want to leave them here, you can. But you have a nice binder there, so yes.
Hard to get organized.
Yes.
But every time I came here, I had the whole table.
So you have a binder, right, Amy?
I came up with one, yeah.
Yes. I have a few available
Yeah,
if anyone else would want one.
If you like a nice purple.
Versus purple. What do you think?
Why you-
Lavender.
Blue Billy Billy.
Yeah. I don't know, Jeff or Dorje, would you like a binder or to accumulate things in or?
Something like this.
Might be nice.
No?
Is there a good hole puncher here?
Yes.
Oh, good. Mine's one of those.
Yeah.
Dot breakers.
Well, I can punch holes ahead of time too, so. Right,
Okay, without any further,
so do you want to table that?
I need a motion to table.
I move that we table item 6, discussion and possible action regarding 2025 general plan survey.
It has been moved by Dorje, seconded by Jeff to table item number 6. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Unfinished business. Discussion and possible action regarding revisions to 5-3 to bring it into compliance with the amended subdivision ordinance approved by the town council at its November 20th, 2024 meeting. This item was tabled. Is there a motion to untable?
I so moved to untable.
Motion to untable Jamie. Is there a second? Second Dorje. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 7 has been untabled. So we have revisions and paper copy to ordinance 85-3. You'll find them underlined. You're getting those on the screen too.
Yes, I think I am.
Yes.
You don't think this is it?
It's not.
I'm looking for any discussion about those changes as they are
It was just-
delineated. Do I need to read those aloud for the record?
Well, let me see if I can get it up here. Maybe this is it. Okay.
It's even right.
Right, I know.
That's
This is
why
what,
it's a separate file.
what, Colleen has been asking for, so. Oh, it's just one page. Let me see.
Would you like to
think
read
this is the-
what they
Wasn't it?
I don't know, that was just one page, so let me
want?
find. I don't know, we may not have the red.
You did.
They might,
You had it up earlier, but
I know, but it might have just been that one page, I don't remember. I don't know what-
I can go through it up loud. Under 3.1.3 Planning and Land Use Commission, you'll see stricken from the text the word subdivision. Going down further, you'll see an addition underlined. The Planning and Land Use Commission shall act as the land use authority to review and act upon applications for 1 to 2 family residential subdivisions. See subdivision ordinance 2004-3 amended. Any more questions on those two changes before we move to the next part?
It seems to fit what we previously discussed.
So if you go to the next page,
Page.
bottom of the page, this is just final language. Consistent to the changes. 3.2.3 Town Council. Position is the town council shall be the appeal authority for appeals regarding applications for 1 to 2 family residential subdivisions. See subdivision ordinance 2004-3 amendment. Where is that?
On page 17.
Page 17. At the top. Thank you, Georgia. There's also deletion at the top of page 17. Permitted uses stricken is lot divisions. Any discussion or questions on those changes on page 17? No, we don't have it. Okay. So further, if you go to page 41, under section 5.6, approval requires for
See, Ryan, page 18,
the chart.
Up at the top.
Oh, it's hard.
And I'd like to point out the columns aren't aligned because of the markup, but it'll line up once the strikeouts are removed.
Okay, thank you. Page 8. Stricken is the date of April 17th. Updated to 2025. And let's see. And also the subdivision approval has been changed from office per.
Right.
That word was stricken because the land use authority is now the planning and land use commission. And the appeal authority is the town council. So the officer was reading. Your officer was reading. Page 41. The date will be changed at the top.
Yeah.
Down to the bottom, 5.6. Required for lot division is stricken and subdivision substitutes. Alright. Next page. At the top. Lot division is stricken, subdivision is included. And replaced. Last page. Seven dot two dot two. Appeal authority. The town council is included. So it now reads planning and land use commission, the commission, comma, the town council, and the officer shall have the powers and be subject to the limitations contained in ordinance 2006-3. And added is ordinance 2004-3.
Ryan, did you note the change on the second page of the table of contents for 5.6?
Probably not.
I may have not have heard that.
No, I didn't. Thank you. On the second page, down in the first section at 5.6,
No, just yes.
Subdivision.
subdivision replaces lot division with the. What brings the language in this ordinance current to the changes that have been. Given to us tomorrow.
It seems concise.
Any questions?
So this does then get sent to the town council for their final approval. So
we're just
the
recommending.
motion is to accept the amendments as presented at the public hearing and to forward it to the town council.
I move that we accept these changes as written and recommend the amended ordinance 85-3 with amendments discussed to the town council.
I'll second that.
Motion Dorje, second Jamie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Will be forwarded to the town council. Recommendation from us in the public hearing. Thank you. We're now down to Agenda item number 8, discussion and possible action regarding updates to land use application form in order to align them with changes in the procedure and recent amendments to ordinance 85-3 and 95-6. This agenda item has been tabled. Is there a motion to table? Motion Jeff, is there a second?
Second.
Second George, all in favor say aye. Aye. This agenda item has been untabled. Colin?
Yeah, I got one new form for you this month. I scooted around here so I could see everybody. Okay, the part of my building permit report this month, there was that PLUC, the certificate of land use compliance for a shipping container, for example. Our old form, which is from 2011, was a combination form that had the beautiful title of Certificate of Land Use Compliance and Agricultural Exemption Acknowledgement. It was a combination of the zoning approval for things like tool sheds, along with the agricultural exemption acknowledgement, which is a if you're building something that's purely for agriculture, like a barn or a hay shed, you're exempted from having to get a building permit from the county. And well, if there's utilities in it, they get permitted, but not the whole structure, the roof and all that stuff. So our combination form I found, I asked Mary Beth why it was done that way, and she said at the time the only things that were getting PLUCs were agricultural buildings. The PLUC part is just to get the zoning approval, the setbacks and height according to town regulations. So I thought it would be a better idea because people were so confused. They would be getting a zoning approval for a tool shed and they thought they had to get it notarized because the agricultural exemption, part of it required a notarized signature. This is by state law. So I separated them. Now we have a separate PLUC, which the PLUC approved last September. And this is now, the new form is the agricultural exemption component of that. I pretty much lifted the county's version. It quotes the relevant state law and adds the number 4 part of it, adds the local Castle Valley requirements. And then the back is the actual legal acknowledgement that apparently the state requires. I lifted it straight from the county form. Bill Health said I could. And there's a place for the notarized signature of the owner, which is, again, I believe state law because everybody's form does that. So if somebody wants to put up a barn, they get the agricultural exemption, so they don't have to get a building permit for it, except possibly the utilities part. And then they get a CLUC. That exemption gets attached to their CLUC, which just means I look at their plans, make sure the square footage and the height and the setbacks are compatible with our zoning. And so the agricultural exemption form is becoming basically an optional addition to the CLUC, which hopefully will simplify it for people. And like I said, I lifted it almost completely from the county form. I think I changed 2 words in the paragraph labeled B at the bottom of page 1. If anybody's curious what I changed, I'm happy to explain it. It was they were, I would have to compare it to the old form. Hang on. That's county one. This is all right. Well, They aren't significant.
Right.
It's one word for sure, maybe two.
Okay, we promise.
Okay. I'd be happy to let you know later. I had it marked, but I don't have that copy.
One quick question, will essentially the duplicate, agricultural exemption stuff get removed from the certificate of land use compliance?
It already has been on the form you approved last September.
Oh,
And that's the form where we ask for a plot plan and the square footage and the height stuff, which is on the 2011 form here. That's not needed on the agricultural exemption. So it's on the PLUC form that you approved last September. I knew that would be confusing. I'm sorry.
good, I just wanted to make sure this was.
Yeah, I just separated the Siamese twins.
Good question. Any other questions for Colleen?
Also, just for people to know, if you're putting up an ag building, there's no fee for approval. That I believe is state law also. You don't have to get a building permit, utilities aside, there's a fee for that, I'm sure. There's no town fee for agricultural buildings.
Is a pump house an agricultural building?
I don't believe so, no. The person next to you should.
I would,
Okay, just curious.
It's also almost guaranteed to have electrical.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Well, it's defined in the form somewhere. It's for the care and keeping of livestock, and there's language in that.
housing tractors.
Yeah,
Okay.
agricultural equipment, livestock, or feed, pretty much. I don't think storing your boat counts.
No. We keep all of our rakes and shovels and things like that in our house. In my way of thinking, I was thinking that was kind of agricultural. I get it.
My pump house is full of hay.
That'll keep it from freezing.
Yep.
There are no further questions.
And
I
after,
move that we approve this, new agricultural exemption acknowledgement as presented.
I'll
Motion
second that.
Jose, second Janie, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much for your work, Colleen.
I just wanted to point out that on that list of forms being updated, Fayleen's been moving the finished ones to the bottom of the list. So after tonight, that leaves only 3.
And another one.
That does mean we still need a retake, correct?
Yes.
We have 3 to go.
It's become part of the furniture.
I move that we retable item 8 until updates to other forms.
Is there a second? Motion Dorje, second Jeff, all in favor, say aye.
I
Aye.
So there is no need for a closed meeting. Oh, you got final motion.
Look, we adjourn.
Oh, second motion is Jeff. Second Dorje, all in favor. Vote with your feet. This meeting. 7:19.
Recording on.
It's good.